Well, hello and welcome to our weekly look at Tiffin University football. Hi, everybody. I'm Snyder, voice of the Tiffin University Dragons. To my left, head coach, Mr. Cris Reisert. Coach, how are you doing today, sir?
Doing good. Thanks, Russ.
Well, welcome in. It's the time of the year that's the least favorite show we do, Coach. It's our little season wrap-up show, and we're going to take a quick look back at the 2021 fall campaign. We will talk a little bit about the guys who are leaving this year. We'll talk about the guys you got coming back, and really the emphasis now is going to be you guys hitting the road and finding the new Dragons to come in to replace these seniors that you're going to so dearly miss.
Yeah, no, the end of the year is always tough, right? And certainly proud that we had an opportunity to play for what could have been a third straight conference championship, and unfortunately, we didn't do enough to fulfill that. But to finish the year 8-3 and to do what I think was some really unique things. Very proud of that, proud of our seniors and proud of all that they've done for our program, to continue to build this thing, and so it's certainly not a great day today, but there are some really positive things.
That's the word
that we're gonna really kind of rest on and use as a building block to hopefully a better season in 2022 and come back with a vengeance.
It's easy to dwell on the negatives.
Yeah.
It's not as easy to really think about the positives and think about what you have to do moving forward, especially in an emotional sport like football. But that's what you have to do, because what's behind you is behind you. It's time to look forward into next year. But here in a moment, we'll take a quick look back at some of the highlights from the season. But yeah, it's a bittersweet moment.
Yeah, it is. No, you take I was able to take Saturday and Sunday and reflect and be up in my feels a little bit, and because you do put so much time and energy and passion and emotion into it, and when you don't have the results that you work for, right, it's tough, and it just means that it's important to you. But man, I'm super excited about where we're headed. I'm super excited about the group we have coming back. I'm super excited about Tiffin and about our program and about what we have going on here, and so I don't think this is the end, right? This is just the middle of our journey, and it's the next step in us continuing to elevate and take the next step as a program, and be able to get back on top again and continue to take it to another level at the national stage.
I call this Cris Reisert era 2.0, because hopefully we're going to go from a fall season to another fall season. I mean, it's been so strange, and God bless these young men who went through it all over the last couple of years, playing that spring season, trying to get your body right just over a few months in the summer to get ready for another season. I think everybody, coaches, staff, players, everybody, just longing for some normalcy. Let's play the fall season. Let's do what we normally do, get into our normal routines, and come back and play a fall season.
There's no doubt. This was, I think probably one of the more challenging seasons, for us, as coaches, as players. This was the most beat up football team I think I've ever coached in the history of since I've been in coaching. Just the injuries and how they happened and how constant they were, and the amount of broken toes and labrums and aches and pains that our guys were dealing with on a week in, week out basis, and then to be able to still go out and play and perform, I'm super indebted and grateful for that. Not a lot of teams would have played through what these guys played through to give us an opportunity to win a third conference championship, and so I'm super indebted to them for that. But the grind of going from a spring to the fall, I think it caught up to us a little bit. And that's not an excuse in any regard, but it did catch up to us, and so now I think that it is over. I think that rest and to be able to get these guys to heal their bodies, and maybe more importantly, heal their minds and heal their spirits, and just get time to just be normal. I think that'll be really important.
Well, you have you have your routine. I mean, all athletes, coaches, creatures of habit. You have that routine in the springtime where you're you're out in the recruiting trail. You announce your recruiting class, then spring football comes, and then you kind of give the guys your summer workout type of situation, and that was non-existent last year. Right after signing day, it was start to preparing for the spring football campaign. It's just so different. Like we said, everybody just longing to get back to some normalcy, and those kids who went through it this year and the kids that won't be able to come back this year, like we said, hats off to them. And the kids we got coming back next year, I bet they're looking forward to that rest of the
No, I mean, shoot, when you think about it, right, is the last time that we have had an off season, right, a true off season, was after the 2018 season.
Wow.
right? Because you had a winter conditioning session after that season that puts you into the 2019 season, right? When I first got the job, and then after the 2019 season, right, you got a little bit of winter, and then just as spring ball was getting ready to start, COVID hit, and then everything got shut down. Right. So for these guys, I think, to be able to get into the weight room and develop and do hard things and mentally and physically be pushed and challenged, I think it's going to be so good for our guys. And I think it'll be just a different season, and one that will be really welcome.
Another aspect of it we don't even mention when you mention all these changes, all that stuff going on, is the student part of the student athlete.
There's no doubt.
Being able to stay on top of your studies and be able to do a good job with your studies in order to maintain eligibility and dealing with all the changes in the athletics, that had to be another mind strain on these kids. A lot of people probably don't even really think about when they're just watching a football game.
Yeah, no, I mean, you think about, you have, that spring after the 2019 season, and now you're virtual, right? And then you're virtual, right, a bulk of the next year. And for those guys that have a season in the spring and then come back and have a season again in the fall, it's a unique experience, right, to be in season and also be a student athlete. Right. So there's a lot more juggling that goes with it. So I am, I'm so proud of our guys. I'm so proud of our team. I'm proud of our coaches. I'm frustrated with how the thing ended, but I'm proud of our resolve, and I'm proud of the way that they came to battle and gave us what they had every single day, and I'm thankful for that, and I'm looking forward to an off season, right? To really build this thing.
Well, the family's probably looking forward to having you back.
We all are. Yeah, we all are. Everybody's looking forward to that. I'm ready for a break, just like our players are, and to do that, right? And I was hoping my break would come a little bit later, but it's part of it, and so we are ready for the off season, ready to attack it and find a way to come back a better animal.
This season started off with a couple early road trips out to Indianapolis and played a couple really good football teams. And I remember the game against the Greyhounds at the University of Indianapolis, probably the second hottest press box ever. That was an incredibly hot day against a really good football team. And you had to be really proud of the way your kids handled those road trips early on in the season this year.
There's no doubt. No, I mean, that was fun. UIndy, I think, was ranked 10th by one place and 12th by another. And so to get a top 10 national win, I think, was a really cool part of this season. And it was one that didn't come easy. Again, it showcased a lot of resolve, and it showcased a lot of fortitude to be able to come back and find a way to win that football game. And so that was a fun beginning of the season to give ourselves an opportunity to be where we wanted to go.
Did Latrell Robinson have the Defensive Player of the Year that game with the pick six off the gentleman's helmet?
Beautiful.
That was amazing.
That was beautiful. Oh, that was one that I'll never forget.
Absolutely. Then you look at the middle of the season, and you guys had a nice, a 5-game winning streak. They threw right there in the middle of the season as your team was really hitting their stride right when they needed to, and you're getting into the heart of the conference season.
No, it was this year was unique, right? We started off well and had a little dip in the middle, and then finished with 5 strong, and I'm proud of that. I think that obviously as a football program we always have high expectations, and anytime you lose back to back and you think that you could have won those, as a program, it's a challenge to respond to that, and I'm proud of our resolve. I'm proud of how we managed the setback and how we stuck together, how we stood together as a program and found a way to win 5 straight, and again give ourselves an opportunity to win another title, and so I think certainly that said a lot about who we are and who our players are.
It didn't come out the way we wanted on Saturday, but we got to say a huge hats off to the Dragon fans on alumni base that made the trip over to Findlay. I had a chance to go over and hang out with some of the people. Saw some people I haven't seen in years. I met my friends on Friday night, like I told you to, had a blast. All these people on Saturday, great food, great camaraderie, and really the brotherhood. You can really see it growing, and people are really proud. Even guys that played back in the the NAIA days a long time ago, and they're really proud of seeing where this program is going. And I tell you what, Coach, those guys are really excited for what you had this year, and they're probably more excited about what you had going next year. But hats off to those Dragon fans and alumni that were over there on Saturday.
No,
great show.
It was, at one point somebody said, man, it feels like a home game,
It kind of looked like it.
We had so much green and gold in the stands, and no, it was so fun for our players. It was so fun for me, to see all the support that was generated, all the alums that came back, and the amount of pride that they have in Tiffin, and it's such an honor to be at a program and to be at a place where those that have come before are so still much a part of what we're doing.
Absolutely.
And I love that. It's like I always say to our team, it's not just our team, right? It's those that have come before us. It's those that have bled and sweat and tears. They've gone into our program. Every day we play, we're honoring those guys and trying to do our best to make them proud, right, and continue to build Tiffin and what we all want it to be, which is one of the premier places in the Midwest and in the program and in the country.
And it wasn't just the players; it was family, spouses, kids having fun, throwing a little football around and stuff. Awesome. It's just, you gotta love that. You just have to love it.
That's why you do it. It's what's so awesome about college football.
Yeah,
especially at a community like Tiffin, it makes it so much more gratifying.
College football is, when you start thinking about the sports. If you talk to anybody who's a big sports fan, you ask them in July, they're like, "Oh, baseball's my favorite." But college football has just something. It's that what we were just talking about, the fan bases. The people. It's a reason to get together on a Saturday afternoon with people you haven't seen in a long time. And then when you have a quality product on the field, that's kind of like the icing on the cake. College football's about the Saturday. It's about everybody getting together and becoming one. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful game and one that I wouldn't give up for a million years.
It's been a part of your life for a long time. I don't see it going anywhere for a while.
No, and it's amazing. I love it for so many different reasons, but I love the ability to impact people in such a positive way, and that's why I coach, and to be able to work with our players is gratifying every single day. And one of the most fun times for me is the off season though, and because you do get to pour into them on such more of a micro level, and so we're really looking forward to that. And I'm getting ready tomorrow. I'll sit down with every single one of our players and have a conversation about them and about our program and about their goals and where they want to go and where we see them going, how we can help them get to where they want to go. And it's not just football. It's what do you want to do when you get out of here? How do we help set yourself up to have success outside of football? Right. If you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a doctor, you want to be an entrepreneur, how do we help you now get to where you want to go?
Absolutely.
And that is why I love college football. You get to impact our guys on so many different levels.
Oh, you're taking 17, 18-year-old kids and you're having them with you till they're 22 years old. We know how much people change in that time span.
It's very rewarding. And the wins and the losses and those things are important, and they are byproducts of how I think that you do things on a daily basis. And we're going to continue to get better there. But I'm very excited to embark upon just that more holistic journey with our guys in the off season of just building even stronger relationships and just helping them maximize themselves and all that they do.
We talk about bringing the men in, bringing them in as kids, sending them back out as men when they're done with you here. And this year was unique because of the extra year of eligibility. So you had some older guys that normally you wouldn't have in a program, played against some older guys. They probably wouldn't have normally played against. But let's just talk a little bit about the guys who, not many guys are leaving Tiffin University as multiple conference champions. That's got to be a great feeling for these guys, and it also got to be a great feeling to know that you helped build that.
Yeah, no, I think this senior class, back-to-back conference champions in 19 and 20, and then the opportunity to play for a third, and so they've left a legacy, in a big way, and I think that legacy transcends the wins. I think the way that they've done things and the way that they've handled themselves and the accountability of which they've led with, the way that they've treated people, I think the way that they've handled themselves on campus and in the community and just being good people, I think that's a legacy that they've left as well, and one that's been so much fun to be around, and I've always believed that within our program, I think one of the best things about our players is just they're good people, and I think they showcase it every day. And the senior class, I think, showcased what it looked like to lead on campus, and just through how you carry yourself. So I'm very proud of that.
Well, high character guys are for certain what you have on your roster, and you need that when you're in a smaller town like this. I mean, we got 2 colleges in a town this size, and there's no way you're not going to be part of the community and be out in the community. And I think I've echoed it to you in the past where I've talked to some business owners, and they know that I do the radio for Tiffin. I'm like, oh, there were some football guys in here a little while ago. Oh, such nice boys, this kind of stuff. So that's so much better. Takes so much stress off your plate if it was the other way around. And
no doubt.
I have so much contact with these young men. I talk to them so often. You guys have never been anything but just awesome to me. Every single guy that's on this, on this roster right now, I've not ever had one problem with. That makes my life a whole lot easier too.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I'm very proud of that, and I think it makes everyone's life easier when you really enjoy working with the people that are in the program, and for me, being a football coach is it's a very holistic job, right? And one where you had mentioned that you spend a lot of time away from your family. And so my family's always around, right? My kids are always around. My wife's always around. And it's that way for a lot of our coaches.
Yeah.
And it's just so awesome to be able to, for my kids to come, right, to a program, to an environment where they're surrounded by good people that take care of them, that look after them. And when my son can look up to Nick Watson, he can look up to Brandon Burks and Charlie Cleveland and guys that are just good dudes that take the time to look after him and to spend time with them, and it just makes for a really unique experience for my family too, and I'm so indebted to our players for that.
Well, you mentioned a couple names that will be leaving the program here after their eligibility has concluded. A lot of guys will be leaving with some big shoes to fill, but we got a chance to see some young men who are going to be filling those shoes get on the field and do some really good things for you this year. You're losing a lot, but it's not like the cupboard's bare.
No, we're losing a lot of production. We're losing a lot of really good players, but I really think we've got a great roster, to move forward into 2022 with, and we've got to fill some voids, and we'll do that. But I think that there's a lot of pieces that are here right now that are really exciting to build around, and you've got guys that have produced at a high level already as young kids. That when given the opportunity to step into some of these leadership roles, I think you're going to see them flourish even more than they already have. And so I am super excited for where our program's headed, and it'll look different, right? And certainly, that's part of the cool thing about college football is you have kind of those cycles that happen, right? And you have a kid like a Nick Watson, right, that's been a 5-year starter, and we're going to have a new quarterback, right? And that's going to be scary. But it's also going to be awesome. We're going to have a new opportunity to develop the next guy. And what I thought was really unique about Tiffin shoot is you had Antonio Pipkin, that was a 4-year starter, and then you went to Nick Watson, that was a 5-year starter. And whoever it is in the 2022 year will be the third guy in 10 years.
That doesn't happen.
To play football, right? And how cool is that? So the stability has just been incredible. And I think we're hoping, right, to have even more stability moving forward in 2022 and have a kid that will step in and play that position really well and honor an Antonio and a Nick and those that came before them and to do it in their footsteps, right?
Absolutely.
But it will be different. But man, we're going to come back with a vengeance, and this offseason is super important for us. I hope our guys are pleased with some of the year, but not with all the year, and we're going to use that as a driving point and as a hopefully a point of contention with us that we want to be able to take this thing even further than we did, and our off season and our edge and our mentality will go a big way in pushing that there.
The voids you have to fill will be a little easier when you think about what you're bringing back. You got a lot of talent coming back to this football team again.
We do. Year. No, I mean, shoot, I was looking at our roster this morning, and obviously we're meeting as a staff and kind of talking about everything and where we're at, and offensively, even when you look at our roster right now, going into the 2022 season, we'll have only one senior on the roster next year.
Oh wow!
So you have right now basically everybody back for 2 more years, with the exception of Darius Penix, who will have for 1 more year. And so
but you have a lot of depth at that position already, anyways.
So that's exciting. Defensively, we return a bunch. We're going to be senior laden next year, where this year we were junior laden, and we're going to be senior laden. But a lot of the premier guys that we were counting on have an opportunity to be back, and so we're encouraged for the guys that we have an opportunity to kind of build this thing with, and I think it's going to be a really fun season in 2022, and we've got a few other holes that we'll look to fill, whether it be through recruiting or through development or whatever it might be. But man, I I think what we have ahead of us is super bright, and it's going to be a fun team.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm looking forward to building it.
And across the Great Midwest Athletic Conference, Tiffin, you better take notice of Tiffin. In the last few years, we have been, like you said, back-to-back champions, and had a chance to play for the championship this past season. And it's a lot different Tiffin team than what all these schools are used to seeing, 10, 15 years ago. It all started really turning around, as you mentioned, Antonio Pipkin. That's really when things started moving in the direction it is now. And now it's your job to maintain it and keep it going where it's at. And that next step in that is the recruiting process. Yeah. Talk a little bit about how the recruiting process works for you guys. I don't know when you can get out and do all those kind of things.
Yeah, so we'll get on the road as a staff. So basically the way that it works for us is this week is all about our players, right? Mm-hmm. So as a staff, we'll kind of wrap things up, and then I, like I said, I spend, I meet with every single one of our guys one-on-one and discuss everything that you could discuss, and which I love. We always say we're an effort-based program. It's relationship-driven in everything we do, and if you want to build relationships, you have to invest the time, and I do this 3 or 4 times a year with our team in a one-on-one setting, and this is I always look forward to it because it gives me the chance really just to be able to just kind of hang out with our guys for 4 days. We have a lot of guys, right? So I've got 146 meetings coming up, which typically by Friday I'm ready for a nap.
I bet so.
But it's always such a fun time for me to do that, and then our staff will embark upon the road. December 4th, November 30th, we'll get out for 2 weeks and get on the road and go see high schools across the state of Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, and then we'll also be active in investing in potential transfers. And as you know, recruiting has changed a little bit. There's the high school level, and then there's the transfer portal, and you're building your roster, holistically in a lot of different ways. And so we'll spend some time there and look to invest in some guys in that position as well. And so it's exciting, and the thing I love about college football is you kind of have your season, and then you have recruiting, right? Then you're building your team in the winter, and then you're building your team in the spring, and then it's back to the season. And so as a coach, there's always unique things to look forward to, and it's the next journey for us, and we're ready to tackle it.
Is it any different with the extra year of eligibility? Has it changed the numbers when it comes to recruiting a little bit this year?
Yeah, it's unique. It really is.
Another reason to want the normalcy.
We have a lot of young kids, right? We have a ton of kids in our program that have 4, 5, 3 years left, and so, which is a bit of a unique situation, right? Really, when you think about our last 2 classes, the majority of them have 4 years left.
Wow.
Right, and that's over 100 kids.
Yeah.
Right, so you've got a ton of young kids in the program that have the time to develop. And then you have some of your older kids that have been here that also have an extra year. And so just kind of navigating that world, and we do have a ton of kids that have 4 and 5 and 3 years left, almost over 100. And so trying to kind of balance out this next year's freshman class with having too many young kids. And so it presents a unique opportunity, not a challenge, just an opportunity, and one that we're looking forward to kind of figuring out the right way to build the team and the right way to navigate this next off season and this next 2022 season.
Well, the 2022 season will be here right before we know it. As I said, Coach will be out on the recruiting trails, and we'll get together in the spring and do an announcement of your recruiting class show. That's always a fun time. I mean, is there a more exciting time for a parent of a football player than when that young man signs his national letter of intent?
I don't think so. Shoot, and I always say it's a combination of so much. It's you think about when a young person signs a letter of intent, right? Whether it's football, basketball, volleyball, right? And the amount of investment, right, that has gone into that from those parents, from that family, from a football perspective, right? Driving your kid to early morning workouts at 6 a.m. when they can't drive yet, they're 14 or 15, and you've done that,
summer
right?
camps.
Yeah, you got summer camps, and you got, it's so much sweat equity, and so for them to be able to realize, and it's academics too, right? They've got to manage their academic piece to position themselves to be where they're at, and so when a young man gets to sit down and sign that piece of paper, it's a culmination of a journey for that family, and then it's the beginning of the next journey, and so I love that day. I think that's I think that's so cool.
When everybody gets their forms in on time.
Yeah, right. When we're not scrambling. I love that part of it, right? And to be able to celebrate with the families,
right.
and to welcome them into Tiffin and to the university and the community and all that we have to offer. And so we're looking forward to that day, and this will be another really great recruiting class for us, and as it always is. And I think we have so much to sell, and I think we have so much to offer, and whether it's the academic perspective, whether it's the social perspective, what we're doing in football, the community, how they're going to be treated when they get on campus, how we develop them holistically. There's just so much that our university has to offer, and I think for young people to want to walk into our program, I'm biased, right? But I think it's a no-brainer,
right?
And so we just have to sell that. We get on the road as we do, and we'll have another awesome class.
Well, I can't wait to see these new young men come onto the campus here at Tiffin University. But I gotta say, just from a personal point, from as a broadcaster and being at all these games, I'm gonna miss a lot of these young men who are leaving the program. Like I said, some of these guys have been playing football here for 5 years now, and I'm going to really miss the heck out of a lot of these guys. But on the flip side of that, I'm crazy excited about the young guys that you have coming back. But I couldn't let the show end without me saying, Dale, thank you so much to you guys that are leaving the program, because the wins have been so much fun to call. The road trips have been a lot of fun, and you guys have been nothing but spectacular with me. So I had to say a big thank you to those guys.
No, I echo that. We're going to do we do a senior dinner with our Gridiron Club, and we do that. We'll do that on Thursday, December 2nd, and that'll be a hard night. These seniors, I'm forever indebted to them. From when I became the head coach here, and the way that they've bought in, the way that they've given me the opportunity to lead them and to work with them and work for them and just be a part of their lives. It's been such a fun journey, and one that I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to be around these kids, and man, I'll miss them. I'll miss them dearly. And my family will too. And that's the cool thing. We had talked about all the alums coming back. Even though they're not going to be players here anymore, they're still a part of Tiffin. They're a part of my family. They're a part of our family. They'll be a part of my life forever. And that's why, again, college coaching is so fun.
Right.
Is you're watching these kids go off and have their lives and their careers, but hopefully we get to watch them get married, and we get to watch them have kids, and we get to watch them get promotions, and hopefully we're around when they go through hard times, and we can be a part of that too, and help them overcome the pitfalls, just like we did when they're in college.
Exactly.
And that's the beautiful thing I think about our world and what's happening, is it was so fun to journey with those guys, but hopefully our journey continues, and they understand that they're always a part of what we're doing, and they'll forever be a part of Tiffin University.
Well, we mentioned the alumni and that nature earlier, but these kids, when they leave, they're the biggest ambassadors you have for your football program, for the university. The young men, as soon as they get out of here, they are dragons through and through, bleeding green and gold. So thank you guys so much for all you did on the football field. Thanks to all the parents, the fans, the supporters of these kids that are leaving the program now, and the people who will continue to support the kids as they come back next year, and Coach Reisert and his staff, and then those that support me with what I do here at the university as well. But Coach, we'll get back together, as we said, when the recruiting time is finished up. We'll announce all these future Dragons who are going to come to campus and bring us conference championships as well, and we'll look forward to that, and have fun with all those meetings, and make sure you give a lot of those young men my best as well, if you would, please, and hopefully I'll get a chance to see some of those guys myself and tell them a big thank you in person.
You bet. So, thanks so much for all you've done and all you do to help elevate Tiffin, and keep screaming from the rooftops. But we're super grateful for the great work that you do.
I appreciate that.
It makes a big difference in getting our vision and our program out to our alums and out to all the people that are benefactors of what we're doing. And so just thankful for you and appreciate you.
Appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much. You keep up as well.
We'll try.
Next year we'll do this show after a conference championship.
Yes, sir.
How's that?
That sounds like a plan.
All right, everybody tuned into the show this week, thank you for this entire season. Thank you also very much. He is Coach Cris Reisert. I'm Russ Snyder, voice of the Dragons, and this has been our recap of the 2021 Tiffin University Dragon football season. Go Dragons.
Go Dragons.